What's up, everybody? You are listening live and on the download to Roundtable Wrestling Radio for May 2nd, 2017, the 10th anniversary edition of Roundtable Wrestling Radio. I'm Joey924. With me, as always, from Queens, New York.
The one, the only, Del Byron.
And from Chicago, Illinois.
Laura Phoenix.
From PH, Michigan.
And Lord got top billing over me. Jeez. Sean Lee.
That was my bad. I was lost for a second. Are you going to say your name or?
Oh, I already did. I said it's like, oh, Lord got top billing over me. It's Sean Lathrop. And
yeah, that's not your name. Even though that should be your name though.
Sean
Laura got
Lathrop?
top billing over me. legally change your name
Do the job, Sean. Do the job.
from the Bronx of New York City.
Innocent, a.k.a. Big O.
The greatest city in the world. You ever notice people say the greatest city or the greatest country, yet they've never lived anywhere else? So how would they know? Honestly, like, that just bothers the shit out of me. But anyway, along with other things that bother the shit out of me, we saw a pay-per-view. And by the way, we're going to be getting into the crust of what this night is about. Obviously, we're going to be talking about memories of the last 10 years of the show and the future of RWR. I know a lot of people were writing me today about that. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But we did have a pay-per-view on Sunday. There's going to be a little bit of wrestling tonight mixed in with the RWR 10th anniversary celebration stuff. Payback was on Sunday. And, you know, as expected.
All this confetti out the way, please.
Yes. As expected, you know, it was what it was, right? It was a WrestleMania, the pay-per-view after WrestleMania, and you know, it was what it was. It
wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
I didn't think it was bad either.
Show.
I actually enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought it was, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But that
I had
usually does happen.
I had to watch it on replay. I had to watch it on replay, but I did enjoy everything that they did.
Except the House of Horrors match, of course. But we're gonna definitely get into that.
You know what's funny is that when you guys, I think one of you guys, when I got home, I saw you. I think it was O that was talking about how ridiculous it was.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it because of that reason. Because you made it sound like it was worse than Jeff Hardy's shit or Matt Hardy.
That's
definitely
better.
So I felt like I'm not going to waste my time with it because I wasn't into it the first time when they were doing it, when they did the whole, they had all those little worms and all that shit on the fucking thing and all that.
No, that wasn't even the first time. It was with the New Day.
Right, but I'm just saying in general, first of all, this guy is not really a guy who's supposed to have super magical powers, man. He's supposed to be this cult follower that he has.
No, this wasn't about magic power.
He's originally
this wasn't even about magic powers. This was literally beating the shit out of each other with household appliances.
By the way, real quick.
Listen. Let me just make this quick comparison, please. It reminded me of a really bad fighting scene of a low-budget horror movie. That's basically what it was. It was really bad.
Wait a minute.
Bray Wyatt is not a horror guy. He's not supposed to be that guy. You get what
Let Joey talk, man.
Hey, just 1 second. I just want to say
all I'm saying is that.
Shut up, Byron.
No, but number one, Bray Wyatt is a horror guy. Number one, number two, you mean Randy Orton is not a horror guy? Is that what you mean?
No, I'm just saying when Bray Wyatt first came out, he wasn't originally like an Undertaker, right? He was more like a. I don't know.
Wait. Bray Wyatt for NXT was not the same Bray Wyatt. It's definitely a difference.
He was like a leader, he was like a Charles Manson type dude. Like it wasn't nothing like he had magical powers.
No. When Bray Wyatt's first feud in the WWE was with Kane, and he did have magical powers.
Yeah,
he did.
I don't even remember what powers did he have.
Bray Wyatt, since the moment that Bray Wyatt went into the main roster, he had magical powers. I'm telling you.
What power?
Now, Randy Orton
the two powers he's always had is like teleportation in and out of the ring and able to summon lighting, as the Undertaker does.
He was doing a lot of magical powers with Kane stuff during that feud. But Randy Orton, Randy Orton is the one that never had magical powers, and for some reason, he did at WrestleMania. However, he did not do that in this match. Randy Orton had no magical powers in this match.
But Bray Wyatt did.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt did. Yeah.
Yeah, he made the lawn mower started like moving on its own. Listen, bro, you know how hokey? Hold on, let me say this one thing. You know how hokey it was? It really, I'm not trying to be funny. It reminded me of like a Nightmare on Elm Street type of scene, right? Where he goes to the front of the house and then you see the light turn on one of the windows and you see Bray Wyatt there. Like he was supposed to be Freddy calling like Sarah from part 1, and it was just horrible, man. It was a really bad, boring, bad. And listen to this though, and how horrible it was. And people and listen to this part. How bad is it that they couldn't even cover it up? Like it was nighttime where they were fighting, but then when they got back to the arena, it was still daytime because they were in California, and it was 6:45.
All I'm saying is, what year are we in right now?
2017, unfortunately.
Thank you. The fuck is going on?
And what's the one Raw pay-per-view that you just named for July?
Great Balls of Fire.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
We're back in the fucking 80s and 90s again.
Right.
No, I'm sorry. But first of all, you, Byron, and O are wrong about this. I think you guys are wrong about this one.
I'll just say, as a person who actually enjoys the hokey B-rated horror movies, I actually found the whole situation to be fun.
I don't enjoy it, but in terms of the hokiness, I agree with Byron. I don't think that you could do it all the time in this year, but Bray Wyatt is the one guy that can get away with it. I do believe.
All I'm saying is, I don't know if you heard.
It was a fake spin-off. It was a fake spin-off of the final deletion. It was a really bad reenactment of the final deletion. That wasn't even funny because at least the final deletion they had some comedy spots here and there. They did things that you say to yourself, "What the fuck?" But it was still entertaining. Nothing about this match was entertaining to me. I'm sorry, nothing.
Bray Wyatt. First of all, it's called a House of Horrors match. What do you think they're gonna do? Crack jokes in the middle of the match?
Well, all I'm saying is that if you went online,
you're gonna get a microphone and be like, "Hey, thank you for coming from California."
Everybody's been shitting on the WrestleMania match. 100% agree with what everybody said about it. Yeah, I agree because it just sucked, and you threw in all that fucking magical shit. You didn't have to do all that shit. It was just stupid. And we're not in the year of fucking 1990s where you can get away with all that weird shit, man. You're trying to make it seem like it's fucking all story and fake, and you got all these people that are tuning in. But wait a second.
Yes, but you're talking about a setting where it's a House of Horrors. I think you get away with it in that setting.
No, because people were shitting on it. As far as I know, from what I was reading online, people felt the same exact way that shit sucked. Why would they be putting Bray Wyatt in this
boring
situation?
It sucked for different reasons.
The only good thing about this match is that Bray Wyatt won because he's never won any of his feuds, right? He's a good talker. He does everything. Everything he does, but he always fucking loses. The only thing that came out of it that was good is that he won.
Now, Byron, as you said in the beginning, you didn't see this at all, right?
I didn't watch. No, I didn't. I actually saw the ending part.
What are you still talking about?
Well, no. When they were in the ring, I saw.
All right, hold on. So let me take over and tell you how bad it was. It was really bad. Sean, you enjoyed this?
No, I just haven't been had anything to say. All right. So
did you enjoy it?
In comparison to the final deletion, it's total shit. But
so why are you shitting on me? Because I didn't watch it.
Yeah, that's it. Man, that was terrible. I didn't see it, but it was terrible.
Everybody said.
But Sean has a good point. I mean, if you didn't watch it, how do you know it's terrible?
When everybody says it sucked,
it really was boring.
There's not one.
Now that's a good point. Now there's a difference between it was bad because it was hokey or it was bad because it was boring.
I mean, listen, my main thing was hokey mainly. It was because it was really boring. Like nothing was entertaining about the match. And then the supposed dolls talking to him while he's like, it was just ridiculous, man.
I'm sorry to say this, but I found it less hokier than the final deletion.
Yeah. The thing is with the final deletion. The final deletion is that Matt Hardy is such a strange, wild character. It works well to have like that weird hokey thing. The Bray Wyatt House of Horrors match was supposed to be taken seriously, but it's not really supposed to be a serious thing. It's it's hard to look at this as a serious thing when you already have the final deletion.
See, that's what I disagree with. I think I thought when last week when we talked about this match, I thought it was all going to be in the ring. I thought, they were probably going to like do a Ravens thing in TNA where they would put weapons all over the place.
That's what I thought too.
But when the match started and it was an actual house, I was like, okay, this is actually different. It's and again, if you thought that the final deletion was hokey, this was less hokey. This was more brutal of a match. They went at it from the beginning of Orton coming into the house, and whether it was boring or not, that's a different story. But they actually went at it. Like I liked it, man.
I'm sorry, I enjoyed the final donation way more than this.
Really? That was hokier. That was way hokier,
man.
Yeah,
but it's not about the hokiest. It was just about being entertaining. That was not entertaining. The House of Horrors match did not entertain me. I had people in Facebook groups saying how boring it was, and I'm not talking about our group. I'm in other groups, and it was just boring.
Yeah, well, the match could have been better in terms of what they did in there. I agree with that, but I thought it was when Bray Wyatt did that like you said he was in the window. I was like, oh god, this is gonna be the hokiest shit of all time. But it wasn't as hokey as I thought it was gonna be. And for that reason, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was okay. It was a House of Horrors. They went into a house, and it was like. I'm sorry, but
it already makes me laugh.
But it fit Bray Wyatt though. It fit Bray Wyatt to a T.
Can I ask you a question? Since you guys saw it, when they first, because I didn't watch it, but when they first started, right? Did Randy Orton come into the house looking around like?
No, he came in. He came into the house exactly how Jeff Hardy came into the house in a car, going up the fucking mountain.
By the way, you know what the part that bothered me the most?
That was an obvious ripoff. I'm sorry.
You're not gonna believe the part that bothered me the most. It wasn't the house, or was it the dolls or the lawnmower, even though that was a little weird. But the part that bothered me is that Randy Orton arrives to this place in a limo, right? And he's not wearing a shirt. That for some reason bothered me. Like, why are you not wearing a shirt? That makes no sense. True. The guy had slacks on or jeans or whatever. He was ready for battle, obviously. Why are you not wearing a shirt? You're in a limo. And you come out the limo.
And why is it dark?
No, whatever. That's Bray Wyatt made it dark.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Come on, play. I mean, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to be honest. The biggest complaint I had about this is that it made Bray Wyatt look like crap in the end, I thought. He may have won, but it took the Bollywood boys, Jinder Mahal with 2 title shot heads to the head, and a beatdown in a random abandoned hollowed house.
Yeah, but Sean, the guy is the WWE champion. It's not a scrub that he beat.
Yeah. But he's a scrub that beat him. Bray Wyatt to me is still a scrub.
Randy Orton's borderline scrub. Man,
granted, and I give you that. I was about to say that. Granted, Randy Orton is probably the worst WWE champion at the moment, but
he's the only WWE champion at the moment. That's why he's the worst.
At least he's wrestling, unlike certain other champions.
Well, I like for anyone to tell Brock Lesnar anything about that.
Go ahead. I'm still Randy Orton being the champion. He's not entertaining me. He's just boring.
I said that from the moment he won the fucking Royal Rumble.
The secondary titles are more entertaining.
Did you notice that Ambrose still has an issue with Brock? I mean, he's pretty much said it on Raw.
Did he?
When he came out. Yeah. He said, we don't have a champion here. We have a guy who doesn't really defend and stuff. So we're going to put my Intercontinental Championship as the main thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was taking little shots at Brock because he doesn't show up. He doesn't want to. Whatever.
But Ambrose should have a legitimate gripe with Brock, because Brock did it all over Dean Ambrose on that podcast.
Right. But you know what? Ambrose, once again, the whole night was him being a fucking comedic. Right. On the night. I mean, the whole fucking night, dude. It was comedic. By
the way, I was thinking about this I was thinking about Dean Ambrose, and I was thinking about, and I was really trying to rack my brain. The problem with Jericho and Ambrose and guys like that when they turn good, they can't be cool good. Nobody is ever a cool good guy anymore. I don't know if you noticed that. The only cool good guy is Brock Lesnar, which is why when he comes in there every few months, he still gets away with it because the crowd goes apeshit.
I mean,
he's the only real cool good guy. For some reason, you can't be a cool good. Name me a cool good guy.
Name me
yeah, but he doesn't.
AJ Styles.
For now.
Finn Balor. Yeah, that's another good example.
Okay, I don't know how cool Finn Balor is.
He's cool, bro. He's come out the leather jacket with that face, you know. Like, hey, that's cool.
I mean, at least Finn Balor and AJ are actually good guys. The guy you mentioned is supposed to be someone who's supposed to boo.
AJ Styles, it remains to be seen on AJ. The jury's out on AJ because I think he will get cornier and cornier as the time goes on. What I'm saying is that, for example, when Steve Austin first turned into a good guy, he was still being the Steve Austin that he was as a bad guy.
Well, look at
he didn't really change that much. He wasn't hugging babies and taking pictures.
Look at AJ when he was feuding.
Guy has to be corny.
Look at AJ when he was feuding with Roman and Chris Jericho last year. He wasn't doing that stuff. He was still a cool, good guy.
And but he was a little bit corny, a little bit. He wasn't the cool. His coolness level got up there when he was feuding with John Cena and saying that he was the face that runs. That's cool. What I'm saying is, like, you have a rugged edge to you. Any good guy that or bad guy that turns good, especially a top good guy, for some reason they get corny. Everybody has to be corny for some reason. I don't know why. Seth Rollins suffers from it. Jericho now suffers from it. Dean Ambrose suffers from it. Dean Ambrose, by the way, should be the coolest motherfucker on that show. He should be the coolest guy on that show. He should be.
No. The coolest motherfucker.
Even in the Indies, he was pulling some of the wackiest shit.
Yeah,
not as kooky as what he's doing now.
So hold up, but was all his dry jokes coming out like he is now? Like his jokes is really dry.
Yeah,
not like that.
Kind of.
Not like WWE. Nah, dude, you're wrong. You're wrong about that.
I would say
Dean Ambrose was not as corny as he.
Oh no, but even then, I would say Prince Devitt was a way cooler guy than Jon Moxley was.
I don't know. I'm sorry. When Dean Ambrose was on his game, there wasn't anybody doing it better.
No, but Joey, you said it best, man. The guys like AJ, if he stays what originally made him popular, like really over when he was a heel, if he stays the same exact way and turns face, but still stays the same exact way, he's cool. But if he starts doing what Jericho's starting to do right now, that's when they become corny, and it's like, oh man, it's like,
AJ has the capability of doing that. I hope that they don't, prove me right in this sense, because I do believe that given enough time, AJ will get cornier. And it's not AJ. I'm not blaming AJ.
No,
I'm not blaming Dean Ambrose. I'm not blaming Jericho. Well, I think it's WWE needs these guys to be, approachable and things like that, be on talk shows, and for some reason, John Cena and Roman Reigns, these guys cannot be cool anymore for some reason. They have to be straight edge good guy. They cannot have an edge to them for some oddball reason. And like I said, in my opinion, if given the chance, Dean Ambrose could be a good guy, but still have a fucking edge to him.
Like Austin. He should have been like an Austin type character.
He should have absolutely been like an Austin type. Now, Finn Balor, I'll give you Finn Balor. He's cool at the moment. The guy, if he doesn't talk.
That's what he talks up to.
What?
But I want to see a cool good guy, and I don't think we're going to see that because we have the WWE to thank for.
We got the coolest babyface in the company with Braun Strowman.
Oh yeah!
Jesus Christ!
He's not a babyface.
I'm not finished with you.
He is not a fucking babyface.
Yeah,
he is becoming one of my most favorite guys in the company.
He could be your favorite guy all you want, but he's not a good guy.
After Payback, they had this on YouTube where Braun was still chasing down Roman. And he's going to the ambulance.
He's not a good guy, though.
And Braun runs in, screaming, "I'm not done yet!" and just rips off the ambulance door.
He just misses the whole fucking spot and takes down the ambulance door. That shit was hilarious, man. Because you know why I found it funny? Because I was like, yo, imagine he comes out and says the same thing, and he did it like a half a second later. This time he missed.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even Braun Strowman, we all know that he's cool and we love Braun Strowman for what he did, but he's a bad guy, And when he turns good, if they do turn him good, guess what? He's going to be corny. He's going to start.
He's not going to be the same exact fucking big monster.
Not even close to being the same guy.
Did you ever notice when he was in that group with the guy who got fired, the guy who used to come out and dance, he used to suck on his lollipop?
The Wyatt family?
Was he part of that?
Adam Rose.
Adam Rose.
He used to be one of the guys that used to dance there. That's what he reminds me of. Really? He becomes a good guy. Yeah, he was one of those guys.
He was a rosebud.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah, he was.
But that's
I think he used to carry Adam Rose on the shoulder or something like that.
Wow.
He did it for one episode though, because the Rosebuds changed every week.
Is that like Victoria being one of the hoes? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think Joey
Alexis
Ryan.
Bliss was also part of the
I think Joey Ryan was at one point a Rosebud too. I mean, it doesn't mean anything.
He was. Yeah,
that's why the Rosebuds are getting more over than Adam Rose. That's horrible. One is the champion, one is about to be the champion. I mean, damn. And he's just unemployed.
By the way, I just want to take this opportunity to say that O was 100% right on one thing on the pay-per-view, and that is that Braun Strowman got a victory and a clean victory on Roman Reigns. I really did not think that was going to happen. I was wrong.
I was going to say, I mean, it wasn't only clean, it was a straight-up ass-whooping.
It was an ass whooping.
But you know what? They're doing this because
but they did it because
he's fighting Brock Lesnar.
I didn't think that was going to happen.
He's fighting Brock Lesnar at the Balls Mahoney pay-per-view, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, he's fighting Brock Lesnar.
Yo, let me say something about that name. I would bet my entire savings that fucking Vince McMahon made that name up. As old school as he is.
What name?
Great Balls of Fire.
What are you talking about?
That's the July Raw pay-per-view. It was supposed to be.
Oh, you didn't know?
Great Balls of Fire.
That's the name of the actual.
They changed it. It was supposed to be. What was it supposed to be called? Backlash or
Bad Blood?
Bad Blood. Shit?
Yeah.
But they changed it and they Great Balls of Fire.
Wow.
Great Fire.
Vince wasn't back there saying, "I like it."
It'd be great. Incredible. I used to love this song back in '79. Let me tell you something. If that's going to be the theme song of that pay-per-view, I'm not watching it. That's it. I would turn this shit off.
WWE is not going to get the rights
to gigantic balls come across the screen.
I can assure you WWE is not going to pay for the rights of that Jerry Lee Lewis song.
Oh my God! You never know, dude.
No, I don't think so. I mean, then again, they did have.
But if next week
for Goldberg, hold on, they paid for the rights for Goldberg's theme song, which belongs to Universal Soldier.
That's not a real song though. Like the Great Balls of Fire. That's an actual song.
The Goldberg one. The Goldberg theme was actually a public domain because that's a old school Sebastian Bach or something song, not Jerry Lee Lewis or whatever his name is.
That's a guy in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't think they're going to easily. However, they did have a Triple H video package, so you never know.
No, but they usually use real themes for a pay-per-view, so they may actually get permission for it to use it.
But that song doesn't really go with a wrestling pay-per-view.
But neither does the title.
The title is horrible, man.
The title's so fucking retarded. First of all, you're gonna have two big guys.
So I don't know.
Is it because Vince feels like these two guys have big gigantic balls that he has to call it Great Balls of Fire?
Maybe Bray Wyatt's gonna have a Great Balls of Fire match. We don't know.
Wait a minute. So Brock Lesnar's fighting Braun Strowman?
Yeah, that's why they're putting him over, and that's why he's gonna beat Roman Reigns at the next pay-per-view also, because he's supposedly fighting Brock.
Wait, so what's the next? I thought the next pay-per-view was Backlash.
For SmackDown.
So what's the next pay-per-view for Raw?
Great Balls of Fire.
Oh, so then, I guess he's fighting Brock.
Wow. They're going to do that match.
Or they're going to do the ambulance match, because it seems like ambulance keeps on popping up.
Yeah, I think, that's what I heard. That supposedly the next match is supposed to be like a all weapons match, and they're gonna include the ambulance match. But supposedly Braun Strowman is gonna beat Roman in that match also. So It's just making him a monster.
So he's not going to fight Brock.
No, it is because that's what that's what they're saying is.
So he's going to fight Roman and Brock.
No, he's supposed to fight. I think the ambulance match that they're going to have is going to happen maybe on Raw or some shit. Supposedly they're going to have one more match before he goes and fight Brock. Supposedly that's what they're saying.
You know what was interesting?
Be a regular match on Raw.
You know what was interesting about Roman and Braun is that at first, like, Roman didn't really get a lot of boos. Like, he got boos, but not to the level that I thought he would. But then when Braun beat the shit out of him, everybody in the arena chanted, "Thank you, Strowman," which, you know, kind of is like maybe worse than boos for Roman. And even with that, WWE's still not going to learn their fucking lesson, and Roman's still going to be a good guy, no matter what. They're going to accept him as a good guy. They're very stubborn in that area with Roman.
Well, the big plan is to try and continue this sympathy angle of him bleeding and coughing up blood. They were showing so many videos on YouTube, and after the show where he's bandaged up, he's coughing up blood, he's in rough shape. But instead,
they chanted "Thank you, Braun."
Yeah.
Yo, let me tell you something. I will say that about Roman Reigns, man. He sells the hell out of injuries, man.
Yeah,
like this guy right here sells like no other.
That was really good. That was really good on the coughing up blood thing. That was really good. I like that.
You know,
it's good, but then I heard there's like video or pictures of like the referee like passing
the capsule. Yeah, but
still, really
Roman
recklessly. Like, come on,
Roman Reigns is always good though. He works good. He always does what he has to do in that ring. It's just that nobody gives a shit about it. That's the problem. It's just
I'm glad he's cutting his smiling off. You know, like if this would have been like last year, Roman Reigns, he would have been coughing up blood with a smile on his face, holding his ribs.
If he would have had that swagger that he had the night after WrestleMania, people would get behind Roman, but they refuse. They just fucking refuse. They don't want to give in. WWE for some odd reason. Like, you could again, we had this discussion before about the kids and all that, but you know that could work for like a Bayley. Like if you turn Bayley heel, I could see that being a problem for merchandise for the girls. But it doesn't necessarily work for the guys. Guys or teenage boys or 12-year-old boys, they'll still buy Roman Reigns t-shirts. I don't understand why they refuse. You have an arena chanting, "Thank you, Braun, for making Roman Reigns bleed to death." That's a problem. I don't understand why WWE doesn't understand that. But, you know, what can we do? He's going to be a good guy, no matter what. And Braun Strowman's, like, now the coolest motherfucker. You know, out of any of the Wyatts, this guy is the one that's reigning supreme. I mean, I think he's kind of surpassed Bray Wyatt a little bit.
Let me ask you guys a question, since the rumors are that that's the supposed match at Great Balls of Fire. Do you think Braun is gonna? Yeah, I know, right? See how I even saying it.
That sounds so weird. I can't believe that's a pay-per-view.
But you know, knowing that he's supposedly fighting Brock, do you think that he's gonna beat Brock for that belt? Because Brock doesn't. No. He's not defending that belt for shit, right? He's gonna be around for a while. So
the plan is for Brock and Roman to have that collision. Yeah. And Braun, you know, I mean, you never know. Doesn't mean
that they may not have a rematch, and then Brock beats him, you know, and takes the belt.
So then what's the purpose? You know.
But what was the point? What was the purpose of fucking Roman Reigns beating Taker if he's just losing now? Like he's just getting his ass whooped.
That's a good point.
I think the reason they went because they knew they knew that if John Cena was going to win, or assumed if John Cena was going to win in Undertaker's last match, he would have been booed like Roman is. And having their top merch seller,
I don't believe that.
They think that, I'm guessing.
I don't. Yeah, I know. They probably do think that. But
if they would have done that with John Cena finishing off Undertaker, they probably assumed that their top guy would have gotten hit so hard that they would start losing money. While Roman, he's still trying to establish himself as a guy people give a damn about. Maybe this could help him at the same time he could take a hit, which
no.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Maybe WWE does think that way, but you know what? I can picture if the match happened with Cena instead, I could picture them having respect in the middle of the ring, cheering and just shaking. They're holding each other up to the ramp. He says his goodbye. Because Cena is that type of character that he would show his respect to.
That's true.
To the Undertaker. So I think the people would have been cheering for Cena also because he showed a lot of respect. Roman Reigns didn't really show respect. He just left the ring.
Yeah, that was it. And that would have been very beneficial if that's how you're going to turn him. But they don't do it. You know, that would have been the perfect fucking thing. They hated him that night. There was 70,000 people hating one person and now WWE for the remainder of the near future, WWE is going to hold on to they hate Roman because he beat the Undertaker. Though people hated Roman long before that, but that's what WWE is going to say now. But I agree with Sean. I mean, you know, WWE has a different mentality than everybody else. I don't know why, but they don't see things the way that everybody else sees it. And I will say also, John Cena, you know, and not because of the whole he's doing other projects, but I don't think he's the guy anymore. You know, I think they're kind of shifting that to Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns.
Well, yeah.
The guy.
He's the younger guy. Guy. And I think Vince said it himself that he prefers somebody that's younger and that's going to, lead the way because Cena's already passed pretty much. He's already done everything. He doesn't really need that.
And I think it would be cool in the sense of somewhere down the road, Roman and Cena, to do the passing of the torch the proper way. Undertaker did it to Roman. And I think Cena needs to do it also because there's no question in my mind that WWE has Roman as their guy, and Cena's, in a sense, like not in the same exact way because Brett, they in '92 Brett was he was like they were testing the waters. And then Hogan came back in '93, and then they immediately gave it back to Hogan, and then Brett took it. But they never had the Brett takes it from Hogan match. But that's kind of what happened in the early '90s. Bret Hart took the reins from Hogan, and that's when Hogan went to WCW. So they need to do that in a proper sense with Roman and Cena because there's no question. I would love to say that AJ Styles is that guy, but as I said before, and I'll stick with this, AJ is not a WWE grown person, so he'll never ever be the guy in that company. Never.
Maybe it'll be Jinder Mahal. He's still 30. Heck, he's younger than Roman.
One thing is for sure, yeah. One thing is for sure is that AJ he'll win titles and he'll win matches and he'll have WrestleMania moments, but he'll never ever be the guy. Never.
Oh no, never.
That's just reality.
But I would say it mainly because of his age. I don't think it's because of who he is.
Yeah, I think it's because
I think it's because he came a little later than because they don't got he's not really long term. He can't be. He's not going to be here for 10 years.
Yeah, I disagree. You know what I'm saying? I disagree.
I'm talking about wrestling straight for 10 years.
Right. If AJ would have been,
he'll be 49.
If AJ would have been 25, he still wouldn't have been the guy because he wasn't one of theirs. I'm telling you, WWE has shown that time and time again that if you're not one of their guys,
ever now. Though. Triple H is mainly the one that's running it.
I understand that, but they still have that mentality, bro. I'm telling you that AJ. And by the way, AJ is wrestling better now than he did at 25. So AJ Styles, in my opinion, a guy like AJ who has wrestled in Japan and around the world in different company. And the franchise of another company, a guy like that is much better suited to be the guy than someone else who doesn't have that worldly experience. And I think guys who reach AJ's age are well better off. I think Christopher Daniels is having some of the best matches of his life at a later age. Yeah, they were good when they were young, but AJ's a much more seasoned guy now. He could go different styles. AJ was a wild guy in his 20s. He did a lot of flips. There wasn't a lot of psychology with AJ. He had great matches, but now he's psychological. Now he could get into a match and wrestle you. And guys, Shawn Michaels became better in his later years. Guys like that, they get better. But I feel that AJ, no matter what his age is, will never be the guy because he wasn't a WWE guy first. That's just the way that they do it. Randy Orton will always be above Batista, believe it or not. Any homegrown guy, Brock Lesnar is a grand example of that. Any homegrown guy. I think a guy like Dean Ambrose, who wasn't necessarily a part of a, well-known wrestling company prior, could get away with it, but we all know that they don't see Dean Ambrose like that. Seth Rollins, I think, may have a chance, but even Seth Rollins, I think, or Finn Balor, for that matter. But going back to the pay-per-view, I enjoyed the Braun Strowman match, by the way. Like we said, Roman can work. What else happened on the pay-per-view that...
Some of the big things that really happened from the pay-per-view, I did look it up.
Yes.
Jinder Mahal is younger than Roman Reigns. Chris Jericho, in perhaps the most shocking moment of the night, is your new United States champion.
Very, very good. I like that.
Yeah, it was great, but you instantly knew that he was going to drop it on SmackDown.
No,
like,
once I wanted to mention this. I wanted to talk about that because I do remember them saying that the guy who wins the belt is the one who's staying on SmackDown.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
That. Yes. They changed that, which I'm glad they changed it because I prefer Kevin Owens where he's at now.
Yes,
because he wouldn't really fit right now what's going on Raw.
Yeah,
but they did say that, right?
That's what I thought. I think Laura mentioned that last week, right? Laura?
No, I think only Jericho was supposed to go if he would have won.
No, I think Laura mentioned that.
They said
that they said it.
They said that the guy who wins the belt, who's going to be the champion, goes to SmackDown. That's what.
Yep, that's exactly what was said.
I mean, just like it was supposed to be for the WWE Championship in the House of Horrors match, and these last minute
they changed it 2 weeks before the pay per view.
Yeah, they didn't. But that was the
everybody fucking pays attention. Follow the fucking product.
Yeah,
that's what they said.
Minute. That was at least I had a couple of weeks.
It's still last minute, man. What are you talking about? Wasn't it last week they changed it? Actually, they never even said it wasn't for the belt. Hold on, wait. Wait a minute. They never actually said. They never actually said it wasn't for the title. They didn't say nothing about it. So what are you talking about?
No, they did. Oh, they did mention that. They did.
They never said, it wasn't for the title no more. No, they didn't. They just let us watch it. That's it.
The minute that the switch happened and that Bray went to Raw, that switch happened.
What I'm saying is that
that still was for the title.
Originally, they said it was for the title, though. You're right. They didn't say it wasn't, but they did say it was.
No, once Bray Wyatt went to Raw, I remember them showing the picture, and they didn't say anything about no title. They didn't mention it, but it was obvious it wasn't for the title. Yeah. They kind of said
they wanted us to believe it was for the title, so we could
right? Yeah,
because they already knew. Once they would have said it wasn't for the title, everybody would have knew Bray Wyatt was going to win.
It's not necessarily that they said it; it's that they wrote it. The WWE.com originally said that it was for the title.
They did say it on. Okay, they said it on WWE.com.
Don't go to that damn website. Fuck that website. I knew it wasn't the title, but I'm just saying, like, we go to enough wrestling websites. We don't need to go to no website that's going to cater to the company only. We good.
Well, what do you want them to cater to?
But I mean, like not like like doing fake news. I can't go to a website that gives you fake news. Like Braun Strowman has a bad shoulder now, which is totally. It's even a real fucking injury. I can't go to websites like that.
Let me tell you something. Though. They do sometimes do news outside of WWE. Believe it or not, they do.
It's very.
I go to the website. I mean, it's not. Listen, it's a lot of fluff. Don't get me wrong, but they do sometimes, occasionally, they'll put up a good story here and there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's rare, but
that's true. Like, where are they now? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Showing Tori Wilson with her big breast still to this day. I remember that one. That was
she's still.
She's in her 40s. She still look good.
Very good. Anyway. Alex Rodriguez left Tori Wilson for J-Lo.
Why?
I know.
Sorry.
I mean,
as of right now, got it.
Yeah, but J-Lo's still packing.
No.
Still packing.
She had everybody. Man. Tori Wilson.
Hey, man. Let me tell you something. Alex Rodriguez is the Brock Lesnar of baseball. He could get away with anything.
Okay, you want to know Want another highlight? Jeff Hardy's tooth getting knocked out.
Oh yes. Oh, and by the way, just for me personally, that was the match of the night.
Yeah, that was a good match.
I love that. Hard hitting. Really hard hitting match, man. I was like, since the Hardy Boys have been back, minus WrestleMania, I was like, when's Matt Hardy gonna be, broken? But that match, I was like, the Hardys can still bring it, man. The Hardys, that match changed my mind about the Hardys. I was really, really thoroughly impressed with that match. They both brought it, both of them. And Jeff Hardy took a beating in that fucking match. Not just the tooth thing. That Sheamus and Cesaro were pounding both. They were pounding the fuck out of Jeff Hardy, though. I mean, if you watch that match.
Jeff Hardy left with a missing tooth, and Matt Hardy left with a busted ass eye or whatever it was. Yeah. They were really. It was almost like there's like Sheamus and Cesaro told him, stiff him up a little bit. Yeah, because that was a hard hitting match, man. Sheamus was ruthless, man. Like that guy, Sheamus. I mean, I'm not even gonna complain about him being stiff because I know how y'all feel about that. But my God, you kick the guy square in the fucking mouth, man.
That was one that. By the way, I don't know if people are aware of this, but they have the Dudley Boys documentary now on the network. I was watching.
I watch that.
It was really good documentary. It reminded me of how fucking fucked up WWE was to them in that run. But they talked about the Dudleys and the Hardys and the Edge and Christian. They talked about we're gonna go out there and we're gonna beat the shit out of each other, and that's what that reminded me of. It looked like Sheamus and Cesaro had an agreement with the Hardys because that was a hard-hitting match. If you watch any match on that pay-per-view, that match, they were not kidding around. I mean, they beat the fuck out of Jeff Hardy and they beat the fuck out of Matt Hardy. And one of my favorite things that WWE has done in the recent times is put Sheamus and Cesaro together. I love the fact that they wear kilts. I like their entrance. I like that tag team a lot.
And I love the fact that they're heels, man. Like now, like it's just, to me, it's like it fits them so much better, especially Cesaro, man, because he's been so stale as a face. Now, I don't know. I heard him cut the promo on Monday, and this is like a breath of fresh air.
Yes, I love Corey Graves. I love Corey Graves saying that there's only so much handshaking you could freaking do before you get sick of it. And
Booker T sold it. Booker T's the one that really sold it.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. By the way, I do not like whatsoever Booker T on that commentary with Corey. And the reason is that Booker T was being a very massive heel, which leaves Corey Graves being a semi-heel. And that's not good. Corey Graves should be the main heel commentator, and Booker T is stealing his thunder, and I don't like it at all. I don't like that pairing whatsoever. It's leaving Corey Graves.
But I'd rather have Booker there than Otunga.
Yes, I was about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't you think it's going to take away from Corey Graves? He should be the focal point.
Corey's got great lines, even as in the between being the middle guy right now. He's got some great lines for kicking.
I don't mind Booker, but don't be the bad guy. Don't be the bad guy. Corey should be the only bad guy there.
Listen, like they said, I think Corey Graves is real slick with the tongue. I think he'll be all right. To be honest, I honestly think that Corey Graves will outshine Booker T in any day. Booker T is just struggling to get shine. You know what I'm saying? And the little bit that he gets now, Corey Graves is gonna have a million more than Booker T.
I'm not saying word-wise. I'm just saying Booker T is being overly heelish. Where does that leave Corey Graves? You're gonna have two heels ganging up on Michael Cole? That doesn't look right. I'm telling you, it always looks better with two faces and a heel than two heels and a face. I'm telling you, it doesn't work out, and it's gonna.
What I liked about Monday night with the dynamic that was going on, and it's so funny because you guys sit here and you're shitting on Dean Ambrose with what he was doing on Monday. Every time that he was doing the backstage segment, back to you, Bobby and Gorilla, but and the last one, you hear Cole saying, "Thanks, Sean Mooney." I was just like, yes.
Every now and again, Ambrose will get one in, but it's 90% corny and 10% good. And that's not a good. That's not a good balance.
But it's still him being comedic, regardless.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying.
Playing that role.
Not a good balance.
He shouldn't be playing that role anymore, man. It's been too many. Look, man, the whole night it was just that. That's all he was doing.
Wait, before let's finish with the pay-per-view first, because I do have something to say about Raw. But I just want to say again for the record that the Hardys and Sheamus and Cesaro, that was my favorite match of the night. The Hardys really proved that they can go, and I really thought like Matt Hardy getting I forgot what the Sheamus. I'm sorry, I forgot what Cesaro calls the that twisting thing that he does. I thought Matt Hardy would, yeah, thank you. I thought Matt Hardy would have been swung into being broken, but he wasn't. Obviously.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I thought.
I thought Sheamus and Cesaro like really beating the shit out the Hardys was gonna break them. Like I really thought, okay, this is it. When Jeff did the Swanton Bomb on top of Matt Hardy by mistake with a sandwich with whoever it was on Monday Night Raw or the pay-per-view. I thought that was gonna break them.
Yeah,
but
me too.
It seems like that's not what they're doing. But I think that's what it's gonna lead to eventually.
Yeah, me too.
For old school wrestling fans, the live stream we're showing Arn Anderson versus the Great Muta for the WCW TV title. I'm enjoying this one.
What else happened on the pay-per-view?
Alexa defeated Bayley for the Raw Women's title.
That was shocking to me, by the way. I didn't think she was gonna. And the reason, by the way, I'm saying that is because I thought Charlotte would be the first to win both titles. I didn't think Alexa would be the first one.
I think Innocent said it last week. Since it was Bayley in her hometown, Bayley was going to lose because you never win in your hometown.
Yeah, being in your hometown.
It seems like that they do that with the divas. Like if you're a diva and you're popular, you're not going to win.
They do that with everyone.
They do. Yeah, they do that with everyone.
Yeah, I think Naomi's the only one that didn't do that when she won at Mania.
No, but they've been doing it a lot lately with like divas championships. Like it's been changing hand in people's hometowns. Well, it happened with Charlotte. It happened with Sasha Banks. It happened with No, that's it, right? That's only two. And then it happened.
That's only two. It's Ben lately.
I was gonna say Naomi, man, but no, my luck wasn't that good.
Was the only one. Yeah, Naomi was the only one that actually won in her hometown.
Yeah.
What else happened on the pay-per-view?
Austin Aries beat Neville by disqualification, so that feud keeps going. Seth Rollins beat Samoa Joe.
That was.
What did you think?
Yeah, I thought that was
been a lot better.
Really?
Yeah, I thought the match was pretty good. Towards like the middle and ending, to me, they were kind of hitting kind of hard, but it wasn't the match they had at WrestleMania. Something was lacking about that match. I don't know what it was. It just didn't like.
I enjoyed how they finished it though. I like how Neville, worked.
Yeah, but those people, they were gonna steal the show, and they didn't.
No, they didn't. The Hardy stole the show. As something I never thought I would say in 2017. Yeah, by the way, how unbelievable is it that we had a conversation on the show about AJ, about Kurt Angle, about who else? The Hardys, right before they left TNA and went back to the WWE, and all those guys that I just said are in the WWE. That is fucking amazing. In the last 5 years, Sting. It's amazing. Who?
Poor Sting.
Still,
no, but I'm saying like all those guys that were there in the span of 5 years that we had conversations what it would be like if they went back. They all went back. Like they're all in the WWE right now, and that with the obviously Sting not being in the WWE, but I'm saying like all those guys are there now. Like the TNA. I don't know. That's mind blowing to me that all of those people that we had conversations about, AJ Styles. I remember saying, "Man, do you think AJ's coming or whatever?" And
do we get to talk about TNA tonight?
Yeah, we do.
Yes,
absolutely.
Man, I wanted to see it, man. I kind of didn't see it, so. Spoiler alert.
Are we done with the pay-per-view?
Yeah, we're pretty much done.
Are we covering a Raw recap or no?
We could. No, I definitely want to say something about Raw.
Because I do too. Yeah.
What I was gonna say about Raw, I didn't see Raw. I saw the ending. I admit that. So I don't know anything.
Great match. That was a great match.
Oh yeah. I don't know really that much that happened on Raw, but I will say that I did see the Alexa Bliss intro.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to say, man.
That was fucking awesome.
It was. She did a great fucking job, man.
Great fucking job, man. Really.
Yo,
good.
this is why I thought.
She's not. She hasn't been in wrestling that long for her to be that good. You know, it's amazing.
Some people take to it like a duck in water.
Yeah, she really.
This is why I was saying that I wish she would have been in the same on the same show with Charlotte, because I think them both on the mic would have been fucking that shit would have been good, man.
Yeah.
Y'all don't think it's too soon for her to win the title? I mean,
yes.
Are we talking about 2 titles in less than 1 year? I mean, that's pretty big for somebody that's that's not really all that great in the ring.
Here's the problem. The problem is you don't have too many females either. So I mean, she is the only one to me at this point that I've been saying for like the longest that she stands out because she could hold her own on the mic. She can wrestle, and she knows how to.
Yeah, she got confidence.
Crowd.
That's one thing I can say. She has a lot of confidence.
She's tinier than all the fucking females. She can really make herself look bigger than all of them as a star. Like she just really shines out there.
That really is.
Basically, she compared Mickie James to like Moolah and Mae Young. Like that was her friends. I think
her attitude, the way she speaks, funny. Her attitude, the way she speaks, is great, man. It's just, well, you know what I mean. Like, anyways, she made Bayley look like shit out there.
By the way, I just love how they perched her above all the other girls.
Yeah,
like she looked like that. Look was amazing. Like I just thought and to open up the show, they have a lot of confidence in that girl, man.
They do.
I do agree with her though. I don't think she should have been the first to win both titles. I don't.
But who else are you going to give it to? You're going to
Charlotte should have won the title. Yeah, Charlotte.
I mean, I'm glad it's all for Bayley. Don't get it fucked up. I'm really happy that Bayley's not the champion. But now, come on, Alexa Bliss, somebody a little more deserving.
I'm going to tell you one thing about Charlotte. Charlotte, I wouldn't put her yet there because Charlotte has accomplished so much within that year that she was on Raw. She dominated Raw, man. She was
I forgot who said it, but somebody recently said that she is the Hulk Hogan of the female division. And
right. But you know what?
In my opinion, she should have been the first to win both titles. Listen, Alexa Bliss is good, but you're telling me, Byron, that Alexa Bliss should be the first person to do that rather than Charlotte?
No, I'm talking about because in general, if you really look at it, Charlotte has accomplished more within that year that she was on Raw. Now Alexa Bliss, she accomplished a lot on SmackDown, but not like they freaking paid so much attention to what they did with Charlotte. Charlotte was all over the fucking place on Raw.
No, I agree with you, but she should have not had that accomplishment over Charlotte.
Let's look at it this way. Charlotte Flair.
No, I don't want to look at it your way.
Okay. Charlotte Flair. Considering, and I don't want to sound like this, and Laura's going to shit on me as soon as I say it. Considering how the WWE acts regarding their female wrestlers in general, Charlotte Flair is 31. Most women they drop usually when they hit in their early mid 30s because at that point they're too old for Vince McMahon. So, and you look at what Alexa Bliss, she's 25.
No, they're too old for Jerry Lawler.
That is actually more true. You look at Alexa Bliss, she's 25, still has a lot of skills coming in. In my opinion, she might be the best woman on the mic. And really, she's got just about everything to really make it there. She's just still building it. I think she's peaking a bit too early. I'll give you that for sure. But
there's nowhere. There's nowhere for her to go now, Byron. Exactly. There's nowhere for Alexa Bliss to go.
I understand that. No, you're right about that. That part I do agree because once you give the belt to somebody that early, what do you do after that?
Not just the belt, but both main titles. Both.
But I agree on that. But at the same time, you don't have a big roster of females. So, with that being said, you're gonna wind up this whole year. I could only see them paying attention to Alexa on that fucking show, and maybe Bayley and fucking what's her face, Bayley's fucking Sasha Banks. Other than that, the rest of the females there are just girls that are going to be trying to put over these 3 females all the fucking show.
That's true.
That's basically what's going to wind up happening, and that's
and by the way, that role also is filled by Natty, Superfly's daughter, and the other one that's with them, the one that was with Enzo and Kaz. That's their role. Is
Carmella.
You have Charlotte, you have Sasha, and you have Alexa and Bayley.
And I like Carmella. I like Carmella, man.
You can like her all you want, but they're not going anywhere.
I'm starting to like her. I'm starting to like her a little bit more too, but I don't know. She's still missing something, and that's ring skills.
I don't get it.
No, I think she's just missing weight.
She got the swag. No, she got the swag down packed, but she just doesn't have the in-ring skills at all.
Yeah, let's not forget that, coming soon on one of those rosters, in my opinion, it will be SmackDown, is Asuka, who will be, a major player.
You know where I think she should go?
By the way,
I think she should really go to Raw. Because Raw suffers a lot from them pushing females there. I mean, they fucking showed that. They showed it last year, dude.
They showed it last year, but they also were suffering from injuries last year, too. And that's the reason they also brought in Alexa Bliss and Mickey James as well.
Yeah, and not only that, Byron, but they did get Emma back, and so they are slowly but surely, and not Nikki Cross will go up there soon.
No, but what I'm saying
have a women's division on Raw. Prior to the injuries and prior to the draft, they had only 4 women, so they have a division again.
What I'm saying is, last year, if you really look at the way things were.
Right.
SmackDown was paying attention more to all their females.
Right.
All their females. Raw wasn't. Raw was just throwing fucking the rest of the females to fucking Charlotte, fucking Sasha Banks. That's it. That was the fucking
injuries.
Because of injuries.
They only had 4 women because the rest were in. They only had 4 women because the rest were injured and couldn't wrestle.
Right. Raw has a better list of women now that they might be able to focus on.
I personally think, this is what I'm saying, I personally think that if you're going to throw her into one of the main rosters, I think they should put her on Raw at this point. I don't think SmackDown...
I say yes, and I'll tell you why. I think that Asuka feuding with Alexa would be really interesting. And the reason I would more say Charlotte, but I think they turned Charlotte face for whatever wild reasons. I can't tell either.
As far as mic work, mic work. That's the only interesting thing about it.
Right. My assumption is that they turned her face because obviously Natty and these girls are heels, so Asuka going there feuding, who's she going to feud with? I mean, but you could feud with Alexa Bliss.
I mean, SmackDown still needs that star power, though. That's the reason Asuka going there makes more sense, because all they have is really Charlotte, maybe Naomi, and then Asuka. They have tons of star power on Raw that they don't need. By the way,
did you say?
Do we forget about Becky Lynch?
Oh yeah, I actually did. I did forget about Becky Lynch.
I did forget about.
I actually did forget about her.
But did you say Naomi?
That's why I said maybe Naomi. I remember Naomi.
Naomi, let me just say, Naomi's so far from a star. Oh my god. She does not scream star power at all.
She is your women's champion, though.
Actually, the problem is...
But hold up, but do you consider her a star, though? Like, do you look at her and say she's a star over, like, Charlotte Flair?
Wait,
definitely not.
I said Charlotte first of her reason.
Naomi's the champion?
Yeah.
But I would just say her being a star in general. Like, she just don't got star. I don't know. Star doesn't come out of her.
I would say Naomi's number 2 on SmackDown.
But you know what the problem is with Naomi is that she actually does scream, I want to be a star. That's the problem with Naomi is that she's screaming, I want to be a star.
But the thing with Naomi is...
Look at me!
I like her entrance. I think that's pretty cool because it has a cool theme music. She dances.
Right. Her mic skills is horrible, man.
But when she's in the ring and she's like talking to somebody, it's very like...
Great athlete in the ring.
Yeah,
that about Naomi. So she's a great athlete.
She was so just like Martin Luther King. He had a dream. I'm like, oh my god, Naomi, stop, please.
I hate stuff like that.
Stop.
I hate stuff like that.
I started cringing, man. I held my stomach and all.
In the ring, though, she's a great athlete. She's not obviously Natty in the ring, technically wise, but athletic wise, she is a great athlete. However, there after her entrance. And by the way, that entrance screams, "Look at me!" And I don't know, man. I don't like it. I think a person like Charlotte or Alexa Bliss, they get it done both ways, on the mic and in the ring, and that's how you get it done. That's how you win me over. You cannot win me over with putting your entire body in glow sticks, and trying to impress that way. I'm not impressed by that. I'm not. Have some stellar matches. I've yet to see a stellar match from Naomi. I can say I've seen a stellar match from Becky, from Bayley, from Alexa, from Natty. I can't say Behemoth Lady maybe, but I can't say I have seen a stellar match from Naomi. Not at all. Also on Raw, by the way, The Miz.
Oh no.
I'm okay with The Miz winning the match. What I'm not okay with is that he has to feud with Dean Ambrose again.
Yes,
we just saw this.
Let me tell you something. I wanted to also say this, that first of all, I think we all like The Miz, what he's been doing, right? But I think we've gotten more interested in him. But him going back and feuding with Dean Ambrose is kind of making you not want to watch him again.
No.
You get what I'm saying? It's bringing him back down.
They feuded for a while.
I don't know if it's just me, maybe not paying attention enough, but I feel like Miz lost a lot of steam since leaving SmackDown. I don't feel like it's the same Miz. I just feel like
it hasn't been that long.
I'll say something very unpopular about that. Miz has become the number one heel on Raw. There's nobody else that
cheered at one time. Nobody's even cheering him.
And I agree with Laura. The problem is that we came off of watching that on SmackDown for a while. And if you're going to jump to another show, I want to see something fresh for The Miz and for Ambrose, for that matter. I want to see something fresh with both those guys. They're going to follow each other on the other.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping to see Finn maybe win it, but it looks like he's going into a feud with Bray, and got the Samoa Joe shit kicking.
And why not have Finn Balor feud with Dean Ambrose? That'd be fresh and interesting. Different. There should not be nothing wrong with that, but they can't do it because they're a good guy, a bad guy, and Miz and Ambrose makes me very disinterested in the Miz. I agree with Byron. It's not the Miz necessarily. It's just the situation that he's in. He fought very hard to win me back over on SmackDown, and now he's fighting just as hard to get me off of him.
Yeah, I get the same problem.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold the fuck up. What are you watching here?
I was on top of him, and now I'm getting off of him.
Yeah, that's what she said.
By the way, I just want to say for the record, because I'm not going to have an opportunity to say this again, but I think Shinsuke Nakamura will be just fine. I don't know if you noticed this, but the entire Backlash pay-per-view video is surrounded by Shinsuke Nakamura. This guy, is not the WWE champion, by the way. He hasn't wrestled on SmackDown, and yet the whole pay-per-view is surrounded by Shinsuke Nakamura. I think he'll be all right.
We honestly say, are they booking him? Like I've been seeing this all over online. Like everybody's really complaining about how they're booking him against Ziggler, and
what do you mean?
That whole back and forth thing that he had with Ziggler.
Yeah, that was bad. Really
wasn't bad. Really. Yeah, it kind of didn't really make him look that good either. You get what I'm saying? Because
listen, and Dolph Ziggler corny Michael Jackson jokes didn't help either.
Yeah, none of that. The whole segment
on him.
Dude, Nakamura's gonna be all right. Nakamura's gonna be all right.
No, listen.
Wait.
And what happened to the king? What happened to the king of strong style? Why is he named the artist now? Like I don't get it.
Is he?
Yes, the artist known as Nakamura. Like that's basically his name.
That's the main roster doing.
Yeah. The main reason is that you already have the King of Kings, Triple H, the King of the Cruiserweights, Neville, Jerry the King Lawler. They've so many kings on the main roster that they want to cut it down.
Yeah, WWE has a history of if you have two Steves, one Steve got to go.
Yeah.
All right, we have artists formerly known as Goldust. We had artists formerly known as Planet.
Come on, man. That was a long time ago, though.
The artist formerly known as Prince Iaukea.
Oh, before I forget, the best thing, believe it or not, even more so than the pay-per-view, Raw, the best thing I saw was the Fashion Police Files that they did with.
Oh my God, that was great.
That was fucking amazing, man. By the way, I've been wanting a reason to like that tag scene, the Fashion Police. And that just gave me a bigger reason. I feel, and I have felt for a while, that they could be a breakout like Austin and Pillman were when they were the Hollywood Blondes. I feel like they could be a breakout if they started to utilize them, and this is a great way of doing it.
Are you talking about Fandango and fucking...
Yes, Fandango.
Wait, they are Raw?
They're actually called
SmackDown.
the Fashion Police.
Whatever happened on SmackDown is what you're saying tonight, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're
because I didn't watch.
They're called the Fashion Police. They're not called Breezango anymore. They're called the Fashion Police.
They are the number one contenders to the SmackDown Tag Team titles after winning a Beat the Clock last week.
Oh, even better. By the way, they had this thing where it looked like Law and Order, which happens to be merged two of my favorite shows, WWE and Law and Order. And I don't know if you noticed on the wall, they had a picture of John Cena, and it actually says "unknown missing in action."
I didn't see that.
Yeah, if you look at all the pictures, and I was really looking at all the pictures, like to see what different things they had, and they had that picture of John Cena, and they actually kind of covered his face. You know, it said whereabouts unknown. You know, I'm telling you, it was the best segment, man. That's gonna get them over big time. They already became much better than the Usos. And by the way, the stuff that they were saying, you know, was amazing. I can't do it justice, but trust me, if you see any segment of SmackDown, watch that segment. It was Fashion Files. Really good segment, man. Throwback to the Don Morocco, Fuji Vice days. If people go back that far.
Oh yeah. I never gave that one a thought up until now.
That's what it reminded me of. Oh, by the way, Byron, I don't know if you know this. They just put up classic episodes of Primetime, and they put up the episode where Bobby Heenan and Red Rooster get into it on the Primetime Wrestling, and Brooklyn Brawler debuts. And I never got to see that in its entirety until recent. Brooklyn Brawler actually hits Gorilla Monsoon with a stool. When you know he's like Bobby Heenan's gonna shake Red Rooster's head. He's like, so we'll just go our separate ways. And then he slaps the shit out of Terry Taylor. And Brooklyn Brawler starts attacking Terry Taylor, but he also attacks Monsoon. And then Bobby Heenan actually explains why Steve Lombardi is now the Brooklyn Brawler. Like, there was a lot of psychology back then. Like, I always thought he was just Brooklyn Brawler, but Bobby Heenan actually did an entire explanation. So there's classic episodes of Primetime Wrestling, including that episode. And man, I was watching that almost the entire day yesterday because Bobby Heenan, Monsoon, Roddy Piper, Vince McMahon, just classic gold stuff.
When they were at
man.
that table, when they were at that table.
God.
Do you remember they should have the whole incident when Perfect turned on Bobby Heenan to join Macho Man for that was some cool ass shit, man.
That was when the Ultimate Warrior no-showed, and Mr. Perfect had to step in there. Really, really good stuff, man. Just amazing stuff on the WWE Network. That's
Mr. Perfect came out of retirement because of that, right? Like he wasn't scheduled to come out of retirement, right? He just came out because of that reason.
He came out, and was doing better than ever at that time. Another example of a guy that got better as he got older. So that classic episode. But I just want to say that about Nakamura because even when Dolph Ziggler was doing his promo backstage, the only thing that people were chanting was Nakamura. So I don't think he's gonna. He's not gonna. Nothing bad is gonna happen to Nakamura. Unlike, except for what Byron said, booking. That's the only nemesis to Nakamura. Other than that, he's golden. He's already golden.
Like I said before, it depends on how they put him out there and how they use him. Because look, the fans are into him 100%. But it all depends on how the WWE books him, because once the WWE fucks up the way they put him out there, that's when the fans may start turning and not cheering for him as much. And it all depends on how they put him out there, man. And what they did last week, I'm agreeing with a lot of people. What they did last week, it was a bad segment, man. And you put him there. And
but that's what I was trying to tell you last week. Everybody kept, thinking I was bugging. Like there was something about that segment that just wasn't good. Dolph Ziggler did not make it any better.
What you said was that.
Yes, about his English. Yes, but but that whole segment, because of him not knowing great English, was really awkward. You know what I mean? And like I said, putting him against Dolph Ziggler in that segment did not help him. Like Dolph Ziggler was really corny in that segment. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. And I like Dolph Ziggler, but so like it's just him not knowing English and then him with the corny Michael Jackson jokes made it a really bad segment.
Yeah. I mean, that was just a bad segment, but like I said, I mean, that applies to what Byron said, bad booking. That's not because the fans... In other words, it's not going to be because Nakamura doesn't know English or doesn't speak English well. It's not going to be because of that if there's ever a problem with Nakamura, but I don't think there'll ever be a problem with Nakamura. And I'll
like if they put him in a storyline where he's reading a book and then he's trying to pronounce words or something.
Yeah, if they do some
like stuff
shit
like that. Yeah, they start doing dumb things like that backstage, like they did with Goldberg when they put a wig on him and from Goldust and stuff like that. Those are stupid things that you do to a character, and you start fucking really messing around with them, where people be like, "Okay, what the fuck is this now?" You know.
I like what Tajiri used to do. Like he didn't know no English, but when he used to go crazy, it looked funny. That was cool.
By the way, we didn't even mention that Tajiri, I think, either got let go or left, or
I think he retired.
He got like. No, he
didn't retire. He wants to keep wrestling. It's just that they don't want him to wrestle no more. They want him to be like a trainer or something. And he said he's not done wrestling. Yeah.
Wow.
So
what happened to that run?
Was released.
That run was a no-go from the get-go, almost.
Injury.
Right?
Just like Shelton Benjamin, just injury.
But Benjamin claims that he was never signed.
Yeah, he was kind of doing that pay-per-appearance kind of deal, like a few other guys, like Mick Foley was doing. And then when he got injured, they were like, well, we'll just release you because it's free right now. So.
Also, we got to talk about this, and then we'll talk about the actual show stuff. Before we get into TNA, Billy Corgan, this guy...
The lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, yes.
Right. Do they still have the Smashing Pumpkins?
Yeah, they still go on tour here and there.
Wow. He couldn't buy TNA. Because
they blocked him.
They blocked him. They wrestling cock blocked him.
Yeah.
So now he purchases the NWA.
Yeah.
For what reason? I have absolutely zero idea. The reason I say that is because, I think Billy Corgan just wants to own a wrestling company so bad that. It doesn't matter what wrestling company it is, because, I mean, why would you purchase an NWA which has had no real relevance since 1989?
It makes, I mean, I think Orville Houston, one of the guys commented in the group page, that he used to own Revolution Pro, the wrestling promotion out of Chicago, Illinois. And, Laura knows, she's from Chicago.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I think he left Revolution to join TNA and sold off his portion of Revolution because he figured he would take over TNA. And he can't rebuy Revolution. TNA didn't want to give it to him because he wanted full control of it. Right. And now he's just like, well, shit, I'll buy NWA because what?
Because it's available.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
But that kind of makes him like... NWA, believe it or not, is still pretty decently big when it comes to the indie scene.
Right.
Not as what it used to be. Right. But he's got a lot of say over a lot of promotions all through the United States.
Unless Billy Corgan can be on television, it will not matter ultimately. I mean, what I imagine is that Billy Corgan wants to have what TNA is and what WWE is, and you need television. Jeff Jarrett on this very show said that it is not worth anything unless you're on television. And he should know because he couldn't even get his fucking Global Force Wrestling on television. Yeah. So what happened was he went back to TNA. And now he's going to join forces with Global Force. WCW, Bischoff didn't want WCW. Why? Because they weren't going to be on television. That is where it's at. You could say what you want about TNA, but they have a television show. Whether you watch it or I watch it, people watch it. I mean, ultimately, people do watch CNA, believe it or not. They have a television show on a television network. It might not be, USA Network or even TNT, but it's a television network. It's so valuable to be on TV. I mean, same thing for Lucha Underground. I think they're going to get helped big time by being on Netflix. That is a very good thing. Now, let me tell you something. Will Smith and I believe Brad Pitt are having 2 major motion pictures being released on Netflix. Okay? It's one thing for, Adam Sandler to have fucking movies on Netflix. It's a whole different story when Will Smith and Brad Pitt do it. These are 2 A-list stars. So what I'm saying is that if Billy Corgan can get that kind of thing going, that's almost today in 2017. That's almost as valuable as having a television show on TV is to have a Netflix deal. Because if you can get Netflix, dude, wrestling fans especially will sit there, and if your product is good on the first episode, they will binge watch, and you can get something going through that. That would be valuable.
I think that's what makes Billy Corgan different from Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett is a pro wrestler, pro wrestling promoter, all that. Right. Billy Corgan, he's a musician. He's got connections outside of pro wrestling right off the bat. I think NWA is going to be something. I don't know what, but it's going to be something more talked about in the next coming years.
Well, do you think it's of great value? Like you could get a Netflix deal, Hulu deal. That's where it's at right now.
I think he's going to get Hulu or Netflix or Spotify or whatever web series there is out there. I mean, shoot. Like at
the big ones are Amazon, Netflix, and Hulu.
What Culture Pro Wrestling has made a career of their promotion out of YouTube. So
right. You could get something like that going, then yes. You could probably make something happen. But the other problem that Billy Corgan will have is that anybody that he will get, for the most part, will be relative unknowns in terms of the television market. WWE swept everyone, and if WWE hasn't, TNA has. I'm talking about the big names. Listen, wrestling products at the end of the day, whether it was NWA back in the day, WCW, WWF, you need name brand talents. You're not going to get a wrestling show with a bunch of unknowns, and people are going to sit there and watch because people today are going to say, well, this ain't WWE. Why am I watching this?
Well, I think the 2 things they got going on for them right now is they do have Chase Owens working for them. Chase Owens is a member of the Bullet Club, the crown jewel, as he's called, of the Bullet Club. And I just decided to go to the NWA website. Of course, they always are bringing in like the old school guys, like Legion of Doom, for example. Just one of them, I should say. Yeah, well. But one of the other things they got going for them. They have upcoming in one of their events at NWA Smoky Mountain, Jack Stane, their former NWA heavyweight champion, facing off against Ryback. So Ryback's already underneath the NWA banner, maybe. So they're pulling something, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm sorry, that's not. Yeah. That's not going to cut it, as they say.
It's going to take more.
I mean, it's the first week. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's not a lot of massive name brand talents out there.
Most of those name brand
Damien
talents.
Sandow, according to Damien Sandow, I'm not saying he's a massive name brand talent. I'm just saying if you wanted to get a Damien Sandow, for example, Sandow has said that he might be done with wrestling in general, that he might get into acting, and the wrestling thing has not panned out for Damien Sandow. I think he's been turned off to it. It depends. If Sandow really loves wrestling, he'll always be involved with wrestling. But according to what Sandow said recently, he might be done with that world. So then you have a Simon Gotch, somebody that relatively people know, and a couple of more releases by WWE, because WWE's kind of doing here and there sprinkles of spring cleaning, if you will.
I think the only name, NWA still has Rob Terry and Rob Conway working for them.
Rob Conway, really?
Yeah, Rob Conway. I think he's a 3-time NWA heavyweight champion right now.
Wow. That's a throwback.
Yeah. But I think the only names out there that are big, Adam Rose, he still wrestles quite frequently, but that's the problem when you only have one major promotion out there, and they never seem to get rid of people. They just sign everything.
Yeah. And,
I guess it's just me.
And with Triple H having his eyeball. Yeah, me too. I did like Adam Rose. I actually use him a lot in the game, believe it or not. But with Triple H having his eyeball on anybody that is remotely available, Triple H is a guy that's well aware of like the Adam Coles and the cleaner.
Kenny
I forgot his name.
Kenny Omega.
Trust me, Triple H is all over that.
Speaking of Adam Cole, though, I think it was today or yesterday, sometime within the last 2 or 3 days, Adam Cole is officially a free agent, no longer with Ring of Honor, and he's already been expressing
no longer officially signed with Ring of Honor.
No longer, right. He's a free agent
by appearance.
Yeah. There you go.
So he's already been expressing interest of heading over to NXT because he thinks NXT is what people will be talking about for years, like ECW.
Exactly. And you don't think Triple H has that fresh fist thing with Adam Cole already? Believe me, he's already on top of that.
First of all, just for not for now, but they really need stars on NXT, and they really need to start building NXT back up to what they were.
What do you think
because a lot of because I'm not really tuned into it as I was back then. Yeah. Even back then, I wasn't 100% involved with it, but I would tune into it. Now I haven't. I don't know what's been going on on NXT. I said last week, a lot of the star power they're in the main roster now at this point. A lot of them failed. And some of them haven't. But I think they really need to hire more guys, start really building all these names back up because I don't know, just no interest.
They are. I mean, they've got Drew Galloway. Drew Galloway
maybe
just
I'm wrong.
recently signed.
Maybe I'm wrong,
their next event, they've got Bobby Roode and Hideo Itami facing off.
Yes,
try and rebuild Hideo Itami.
Women's
division.
What's his name? Hideo Itami? What?
Hideo.
Yeah, well, I'm not really into that guy. I've never thought he was something special. I just think he's a regular Japanese guy. That's all I see.
They're rebuilding their women's division with women like Ember Moon, Ruby Riott, and Nikki Cross.
Ember Moon is not injured? Ain't she injured? Or speculation
she
might be injured?
No.
It's speculatory at this point.
And as Aleister Black, I think he's one of the most entertaining guys in NXT right now. That guy's going to be freaking huge soon. Plus, you have Eric Young in NXT. They're rebuilding.
Yeah,
they had maybe 6 or 7 months of a dry period.
Drew Galloway was a big get back for them. I saw him actually wrestle the other night. One thing I got to say about NXT that I'm very disappointed about, is Chris Hero. When Chris Hero first was announced that he was coming back, I was like, wow, that's cool, Chris Hero. And then I actually watched him, and I see like he's overweight. He doesn't move the same way. I was just like, oh man, he was in the opening match. You know what I mean? I don't even know why WWE why they signed him back. Because they had a problem with his weight before, and he seems a little bit out of shape. I'm just really disappointed by that. Chris Hero is one of my favorite guys, and doesn't look like he's going to go anywhere. Hideo Itami's kind of taking the main event spot from him. But they are rebuilding, I should say, back those guys. Bobby Roode is in charge over there.
Okay, cool. I just didn't know, because I've really tuned out of it.
Now, what were you going to say?
Guys left.
What were you going to say, Sean, about TNA?
They've been doing
that's enough.
I was going to. Okay.
That's enough.
That was enough.
That was way too much. Now we got Sean.
Big things with TNA right now is that I didn't think we'd mention it on the show last week. Low-Key is back in TNA and is your new X Division champion in Low-Key and is doing his Hitman gimmick he did in New Japan. Like he looks like Agent 47, I think he's called, from Hitman.
Oh yeah.
And he wrestled in the suit the entire match with the black leather gloves and everything. Plus,
that's cool.
They recently what?
So what else is going on?
I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't hear.
What else has been going on with TNA?
They just recently been promoting and brought in Matt Sydal, a.k.a. Evan Bourne, for those who don't know who he is from Ring of Honor and New Japan.
Which would actually be great to see him, man, because I really miss watching him wrestle, man. He was really, really good back in the day.
Those are two good signings right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying TNA is trying, man. That's why I'm giving them a chance, and that's why I'm definitely going to watch the episode that passed. They're trying. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. The segments are horrible. Like, don't watch the segments. If you're watching it recorded, forward all the segments and just watch the wrestling. Because believe me, they're bad.
And I think they've got their...
but their wrestling is good.
Their Slammiversary events coming up soon, which is supposed to be a lot of the merging of the titles from what I understand. So we'll be able to see... I'm trying to get the card up as soon as I can real quick, or what we understand what portions of the card is going to be existing. But it's going to be a unification with Alberto El Patron and Lashley for the Impact Global Championship, Global Wrestling and Impact Championship. Christina Von Eerie, who was a former guest of the show, which we'll be talking a little bit more about some other guests we've had. Well, sort of. She was having sex with a member of our show when he was on the show or something. Point being,
really,
was he inside of her while he was on the show?
I don't know. You were interviewing Jesse Neo at the time. You tell me.
Oh, no, he wasn't.
Okay. Well, point being, Christina Von Eerie's there, so she's probably going to do unification with Rosemary, and LAX, the new LAX, beat the living fuck out of Decay to the point that they wrote off Crazy Steve that he died, essentially. In a volcano, he was fine, but LAX...
Did you poop yourself?
What?
Did you just poop yourself?
When Crazy Steve landed in a volcano, he was fine, but when he was getting beaten down...
Crazy mother.
Anyways, point being...
He landed in a volcano.
He landed in NXT.
He landed in a volcano. That was all Matt Hardy, so blame him. And he's in WWE now. So
I'm blaming him. Believe me.
But the big news is that Loki's your X Division champion, and Matt Sydal is now part of Impact.
That is very cool. That's the road that TNA needs to get on. I like that. And I did see those the Loki stuff. And, this guy has a way of reinventing himself every now and then. I like Loki. He's one of my favorites. In the ring, he's one of the most intense guys. Really responsible for that early X Division. So really enjoying that.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. Matt Sydal. I don't know what happened.
The only thing about Matt Sydal is that if they go overseas, if they go to Japan, he's not going to be able to go.
Yeah.
He's banned from Japan.
Is he?
Yep.
Yeah.
What is he banned for?
Oh yeah.
He had marijuana on him.
Yep. And I forgot about this one too. They also brought back Sanjay Dutt. So Sanjay Dutt's also in TNA.
Wow. Well, that's actually pretty good. Wow. I like Sanjay Dutt. That was my guy right there. He had the moon stomp, which is a reverse stomp. I love that move. One of my favorite dudes right there. Going into the show real quick, celebrating the 10th anniversary of the show on May 1st of 2007. This was actually a couple of months after the Chris Benoit incident that we actually started the show. And on the very first episode of RWR, we had former NWA wrestler, the real NWA, Baby Doll. Baby Doll was on the very first episode. So even in the first episode, we had a guest on the show, and she was amazing, man. She was a part of a lot of our episodes in the early days of the show. So yeah, back in 2007. A lot of fucking shit has happened since 2007. We had Diamond Dallas Page in the early days of 2007, and from that point he became a major staple in the show. And to be quite honest with you, we've had so many guests on the show that there's times where people will tell me about a guest, and I completely forget that we had that guest on the show.
Well, okay, Joey, since you've been here since day one, who was your favorite guest in the program?
Kurt Angle. Without question, Kurt Angle. And the reason I say that is because Kurt Angle gave us almost 2 hours. We lost connection with Kurt Angle, and he would call me back on my actual house phone and say, let's go. You know, I thought we pissed Kurt Angle off a few times, but he was a stand-up dude, man. That night, Rob Van Dam, who also gave us almost 2 hours, really was amazing having Rob Van Dam on the show. We've had Balls Mahoney. We've had New Jack was one of the wildest fucking interviews that we ever had. Shane Douglas. Pretty much, I mean, I'm almost surprised at the list.
Larry Sabisco.
Oh my God, Larry Sabisco. Sabisco was the guy that just really pissed me off. But it was the early days, so I didn't really know how to react.
You know, this is the first time you're actually talking about this live, right? Like how you pissed off. Go ahead, it's gonna be funny.
No, I was pissed off, man. The guy wouldn't answer any fucking question. Not one fucking question that we asked him, he wouldn't answer. And I'm sitting there like, why are you doing this interview? You know, but it was the early days, so I didn't really know how to react to it.
One of the ones.
What do you tell Larry Sabisco?
One of the funniest interviews, I think this was right after he quote unquote didn't join TNA, was Joey Ryan. And
yes, Joey Ryan, man. That's right. Joey Ryan was on. By the way, who did we have from Glow?
Crap.
I was trying to remember this for the life of me. I could not remember.
Beastie. Beast?
Was it?
Crap. I know it's up on our SoundCloud. Give me a second. But I want to say it was Beast because it was just like, I'll grind your bones and turn it bones or something.
I think it was Matilda the Hun, if I'm not mistaken, but
probably
I could be wrong.
I guess.
There was a guest that you had a while back. I don't know if you're going to remember this, and it's going to sound crazy, but I remember listening to this live. It was a WWE wrestler. I know he wasn't popular. I don't know if he was one of those, flash in the pans. He was there for a little while and left. But I remember I interviewed him, and this was way before Sean. And I remember he specifically kept on referencing how wrestlers kept kissing and massaging Vince's balls. Do you remember that? That he said it to the point, he said it like 4 or 5 times, and he kept making kissing noises and like really getting into graphic details that you even took it back. Like, what? Like
really?
You didn't I don't remember who it was, but it was an interview. It was like years. This was a while back, and I remember listening to it cringing like, wow, like if it wasn't this show, it could have been the other one that you was in, but it was definitely you was involved in that interview, and it was hilarious because he just kept referencing about people sucking up the Vince's balls and kissing it, and he making all these noises, and you was like, he was actually like, what the hell? Like you didn't know what to say, yo.
I do not remember that, but then again, I remember 90% of the interviews that we did. I remember pretty much every hiring/firing that has happened throughout the show because we've had a lot of different roundtable members.
Shit, I've been here for 4 years, and I think I've seen 8 people come in and come go.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
4 years.
Had a lot of people. That we've had as panelists, people, couldn't cut the mustard, as Hulk Hogan would say.
Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to some of them just because they were, important members in the beginning or were with the show for a good time. Jen Solis, of course. I think she was the first diva of Roundtable or something like that.
The first female, period.
The first female of the Roundtable. Of course, you also had for a short period, a long time, Smoked Out, who came back on for a short gig while I was here. Jobber Joe,
original member.
Jobber Joe, while I was, he was on 1 or 2, but when I was a listener, Jobber Joe from way back in the day. And, of course, one of the founding members, Black Moses, who was part of this program for a long time.
I wish I could, I really do.
Wasn't Moses like before everybody, right?
Yeah.
Before Moses around the time where y'all was doing the Minority Report. That I remember.
Moses is definitely one of the founding members of Roundtable Wrestling Radio. But I wish I could remember the second female that we had. I cannot remember.
Duvall.
Sienna Duvall?
Yeah. That was her wrestling name. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a wrestler. She was really cool with us. Really, really enjoyed her a lot. I just have a really, really bad memory. And of course, I do. I have a horrible memory. Amanda Panda, perhaps one of the most popular people that we've had on the show. For what reason, I don't know, but she was one of the most popular.
She'll never pay up on that bet now.
No, she never will.
She'll never pay up on that bet, man.
What bet was it, man? Let me know.
I do remember the bet because first bet.
I do remember what you had to do, and that was recite the Rambo dialogue.
I think the first bet was because we did 3 bets in total. The first one was the loser had to do the Britney Spears "Oops, I Did It Again" video.
Yes,
and it was a match between Alex Shelley and Kenny Omega. I lost,
and Sean did it.
Yeah, I did it to a T.
And didn't Amanda do the second one?
Yeah, she did the second one. I think that one was Kenny Omega versus Kushida. And she lost, and she had to do a twerk video, and that was hilarious as well. And the third one was the Bloodsport one. And I think that was a Kenny Omega versus Kushida rematch.
Right. Yep, from a couple years ago.
I want to say that was Wrestle Kingdom.
It was Wrestle Kingdom 2016.
Yeah.
You guys never got to do the rubber match.
Yeah, we never got the rubber. I mean, I won the rubber match, but she didn't do the rubber bet. So.
Right. She didn't do the rubber band. By the way, the people that we mentioned, I gotta mention this. 2 people that I have to mention as far as the panel is concerned. All jokes aside, I've joked
did he eat
around.
A lot of chicken? Was he a big fan of chicken?
I don't know. Maybe he was. But in all kidding aside, I've joked about him in the past. But Jobber Joe was a massive part of the show in terms of production. He was technically our second producer of the show, and he did a tremendous amount of stuff for this show. And it's stuff that I appreciate always, because anybody that did what Jobber Joe did really deserves appreciation. So all jokes aside, Jobber Joe was a huge part of RWR, major part.
I remember Jabba Joe. In the beginning, a lot of people did not like him as a podcaster, and then little by little, he grew, he got better, and next thing you know, he was, pretty good. Even me, I was like, wow, he became good.
He actually earned a lot of people's admiration, because you're right, a lot of people did not like Jabber Joe. As a matter of fact, people would tell me on a consistent basis to fire Jobber Joe. I would not do it, much to people's, people were angry about it. But and the second person,
a lot of people told you to fire me too. So
yeah, that's true. The second person,
people don't like change. That's why.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They really didn't. But the second person, I have to say, as much as Jobber deserves the applause, so does Sean. Sean did a lot for the show. As a matter of fact, the most for the show, which is saying a lot, because Jobber Joe, I didn't think anybody would do what Jobber Joe did, but Sean really did top in a lot of ways what Jobber Joe did. And not only that, but Sean remained on the show in spite of some differences. Sean really, really showed a lot of loyalty. And that, if anybody knows me, you know that I covet loyalty above mostly everything, which is why a lot of people did not survive on the show, because people didn't really have loyalty on the show, or loyalty in general as a human being, to be perfectly honest. So these are people that we haven't even mentioned, and we're not going to, because of that reason. They just are deplorable human beings. They showed no class. And if you're a longtime listener and we didn't mention someone, you could deduce it from that. But
just because we didn't mention her, and just so no one gets confused with this one, Elizabeth. She wasn't it wasn't that Elizabeth didn't show class or didn't show loyalty. Is that, in our opinion, she just wasn't great on the show. But she was definitely really cool to have on for the short period of time she was on the program.
Oh yeah, she was really cool. She just didn't didn't have a lot of experience basically doing this, and it really came off. Yeah. Also, thank you for reminding me. Around that time period, believe it or not, for a long period of time, one of the co-hosts of the show was Brock Lesnar, dude. Lesnar guy. I actually always called him Brock Lesnar, dude.
I mean, even his Twitter handle is Brock Lesnar guy. So,
Brock Lesnar, dude, the guy that's at the front row of almost any WWE pay-per-view. Even to this day, he's on the front row. I don't know how we still never, he was on the show for a while, and we never got the answer to how he does it, how he affords to be at all these fucking pay-per-views. We still didn't get the answer. We still don't know. So it's one of those mysteries, like a television sitcom where Tommy, in Martin, we never got to find out what Tommy did for a living. We don't know how the fuck this guy affords to go in the front row of all these shows. But yeah, Brock Lesnar, dude, was a cool part of the show, man. It just worked out that way that, one of the fans of the WWE just ended up on this show and stayed on the show for a while.
For a long time, one of the most listened episode we had was, as Will Strauss did from 8bitx.com called it, the hashtag Shock versus Brock, when we had the shocked Undertaker guy and the Brock Lesnar guy in the program at the same time. We're the only podcast, at least in my memory, that has had both those guys on the show.
Yeah, it was the only podcast that even thought about doing something like that, to be honest. And also a big thanks to Laura, of course, who is one of the remaining female, called into the show and stayed on. For a time period, we had Laura and Amanda on the show at the same time.
That happened. You'd be amazed at how often that actually happened with me.
But so yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of people that have come through the show, but those are the standouts, obviously. Don't
forget Byron, man. Byron been with you for the longest, man. Ride or die, right there.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the people that are not here, or the people that are leaving.
Laura and I are leaving.
Yes, you guys are being deleted. But before, and I'll get to that in a minute. I just want to say also, like you said, the favorite guest was Kurt Angle, but Diamond Dallas Page did so much for this show. I mean, in all honesty, and all jokes aside, I would have conversations with DDP. It was one of the first times that, aside from Baby Doll, who also called me on a regular basis, believe it or not, it was one of the very few times where I'm like, I used to watch WCW and I'm speaking with Diamond Dallas Page on a regular basis. It was weird. It was still surreal. But all the guests that we've had on, it's been really like incredible. Magnus from TNA, all the females. Dawn Marie was one of the best and most talked about females that we ever had on the show.
Lufisto is still one of my favorite females on this program.
Lufisto, she had such a great attitude about being on.
Yeah.
Sarah Del Rey, we had a lot of
Sienna.
We had
Serena.
Serena. Oh my God, that was my favorite. Also, the other chick from ECW.
Francine.
Yes, Francine. Thank you. So New Jack, Balls Mahoney. We had so many guys from
Jerry
ECW.
Lynn, Luke Gallows. Honestly, I'll ask you, Innocent, right after I'm done. My favorite guest when being a part of the program, listening before, was probably New Jack. New Jack's hilarious. And it's stuck on Joey's hard drive so no one else can hear it. Was Michael Hutter and Ryan Namath. This was right after they left WWE, and before Michael Hutter went on to become Ethan Carter III. And They are the exact same people that you saw in FCW and in TNA. They are hilarious, and it was an awesome interview. It's my favorite one I was a part of, for sure.
Yeah. Also, Ezekiel Jackson. We had Moose from TNA, who's had a lot of success in recent memory in TNA. So many. I mean, again, just way too much to list.
Well, Innocent, just to go around the table, just so everyone can say, Innocent, who was your favorite, listening and or being a part of?
Well, I was never a part of any. I'm not gonna say I heard. I mean, I wasn't part of none, actually. Let's be honest here. But I didn't hear every single interview. But as funny as it's gonna sound, I thought the Larry Sabisco one was my favorite, just for the fact that how frustrated Joey was sounding, and how cringing it was, that it was actually funny and it was entertaining to me. Not because he was a great interview, it was just the fact that he had the nerve to basically say absolutely nothing, and to hear Joey kind of get frustrated in a way, but kind of kept it respectful, because I know how hard it probably was for him. It was really entertaining for me.
What about you, Laura?
Oh, I would probably go. I know Dan's was always a good interview for the show.
Yeah, that's right.
Did like listening to the DDP yoga or the DDP one, obviously. But yeah, I think those would be my top two right there.
Yeah, we had DDP on so much that it actually benefited a former member of the show.
Yeah, the guy that ate chicken. I don't know if Byron's on anymore. He disappeared again.
I'm here. All
right, well, Byron, who was one of your favorite guests?
Yeah. My favorite guest on the show was obviously me, but when I first got on. But yeah, I would just have to say Kurt Angle was. You can't really he was one of the real top guys. And he gave us a really good interview. He wasn't in a rush to get off the phone with us. He was really into talking with us.
He answered every question too.
Yeah, he wasn't hesitating. It was a good interview, man. And I would say the second one, even though you only asked me for one, but the second one was RVD. Unfortunately, somebody was snoring at the time, but it was a good interview, man. It was a good interview, man.
And by the way, Kurt Angle, this was, for a lot of people that may have not been here for that, Kurt Angle was in TNA, and it was about to defend the title, I believe, on a pay-per-view. So Kurt Angle doing the show at that time, and this was before he kind of went a little bit down in TNA, that was major for us. I mean, I still... I watch Kurt Angle now, and I'm like, wow, he spent 2 hours with us. It was really one of the benefits of doing this stupid thing.
And I want to go ahead. Okay.
Go ahead.
You guys know the listeners know we've probably talked to so many people, and a lot of rejections we've gotten to over the years. But one of them, and I will say this guy's a class act, up and down in every way. Zack Sabre Jr. was one of the guys I was in talks with to have on this program, and he was one of the kindest guys I talked to over email about not being on the program and wanted it. So definitely check out Zack Sabre Jr. and Tyler Rex. He was on the program 2 or 3 times, and if it wasn't for Tyler, we wouldn't have had JTG, Cage from Lucha Underground, Ezekiel Jackson join this program. Tyler Rex really helped us out a lot for a bit.
Tyler, that's true, actually. And actually, I want to mention 2 interviews. This was very, very early in the show. But a guy that people probably have forgotten about, but he was involved with WWE in the Attitude Era, and that's Jason Sensation. Yeah. Jason Sensation was a guy that was a fan that would be around WWE, did the Owen Hart impersonation. If you remember the Nation of Domination skit.
I was there for that. That was so cool.
That was Jason Sensation, and he was one of our very early guests. Gave us one of the best fucking interviews of that time period. And the other one, very early on, was the One-Legged Wonder.
Yes.
Who was absolutely amazing. One of my personal favorite guys that his run. in general. And when we got him on the show, it was really, really cool. These are two that just popped into my head. But Jason Sensation I bring up because that was really early. I don't even know if we have that audio whatsoever.
I can't find it. We do have the Zach Gowen, since you didn't say his name. Zach Gowen's audio is out there on our SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play. So
it's a really class act, by the way, Zach Gowen. But that was really early on. We had so many early on. We had Manny Fernandez early on. I know people may not be familiar with Manny Fernandez. He was also an NWA guy. Yeah. Manny Fernandez is infamous. Google it, and you'll find out why Manny Fernandez. I don't remember.
I'm trying to think of some of the other names. We pulled Eric Watts was on this program. The white Eric Watts, Bill Watts' son, not the black guy from Tough Enough.
Yeah, we had him several times in the early days. He was another guy. Oh, and one of the guys that was kind of like our early DDP was Mike Sanders. Mike Sanders from WCW, the later days of WCW. I forgot what his nickname was.
Above Average Mike Sanders.
Above Average Mike Sanders. Thank you. He was one of our early guys. He got along with us so well. I mean, what a fun guy that guy was. Just a couple of guys that were really good, but like Laura mentioned, Dan the Beast Severn is actually he's a guy that's really gotten along with us very well. And the reason I bring that up is because again, it's just one of those mind-boggling things. Out of anybody that I thought would get along with us, this scary dude it got along with us very well, man. It's been on 3 times in the last couple of years, so just got to mention that. But I just want to say for the record, go.
Consequence.
Oh yes, Consequence. Put his Bray Wyatt song on our show.
We actually did a live audio show of him and Mark Crozer doing a song together on 8bitx.com, which I said it last week. Love to Roundtable Radio, Justin.tv, Facebook now, 8bitx.com, and I think there was something else we were streaming on at one point too. Oh, ProWrestling247.net.
That's right.
Probably some other things too. So.
I just want to say for the record that in a technical sense, RWR from this point forward will continue. It will continue with Big O. And the other person I want to thank, of course, the Byron, who joined. When did you join, Byron? I think 2007, or 8. We actually, wasn't it by Grant? I don't even know if Byron's here. We were playing Grand Theft Auto online, and I believe it was 2008. As a matter of fact, ironically, J-Rod and Byron, who came together as a package, we actually sent J-Rod, the show sent J-Rod to WrestleMania 24, and that's how that whole fiasco started with Byron and J-Rod. And Byron's been on since then and has been the most loyal person in the history of RWR. So I want to thank Byron. I don't know if he's there, but
I'm still here.
So you came on in 2000.
What a way to say thank you. Nah.
you came on in 2008, right?
It's been a minute. I don't know at what point I got on, but I know
the late 2007 or definitely 2008 because we sent J-Rod to WrestleMania.
Oh, so that's right. Yeah,
it had to be 2008.
Yo, also he had a problem with that guy, and the guy left.
What are you talking about?
What?
I thought you said that Byron stood while the guy didn't make it or something like they argued or something. And
you talking about J-Rod?
Stood. I thought that's what I thought he was trying to say.
Oh, I said,
wasn't there another host when it first started that he stormed out and didn't want to do the show no more because there was too many people?
No.
He stormed out of the office.
Nobody.
Remember that he said it live on the episode. It's my last day. I can't do this because there was too many people on.
No, that never happened.
Yeah, it did. I'm not gonna say his name because I'm not gonna promote the guy. But Kevin. Remember when you first started, you had Kevin Castle, and he used to get upset with so many people. You kept putting people. He was like, you know what? This is the day in the show. I'm leaving the show because there's too many people now here, and I can't even talk.
He never did that.
I remember that live on the air, man. If it wasn't this show, then it had to be the other one. But I do specifically remember.
It's probably the other show. It did not happen on this show. I can tell you that for sure. That's for sure.
I guess that's
anyway.
Yeah.
But so Byron's been on since 2008 for sure because, like I said, we sent J-Rod to WrestleMania that year, WrestleMania 24, at the Citrus Bowl, and since that point,
he never made it back.
Really, you never came back? Never.
So Byron is the longest member for 9 years. So, like I said, the RWR will continue with the Byron and with, this is my final episode. I think 10 years is long enough for me personally. But, what people may not know if you just listen to the Roundtable Wrestling Radio Show is that this actually marks my 17th year doing this in general. I literally started in May of 2000. May of 2000, right after Owen Hart died. And so 17 straight years I've been doing this. So for the first time in 17 years, I'm not going to have to watch wrestling anymore. That's number one. So this is my final episode of RWR. Now, I'm not going to say that it's my final ever, because one thing I've learned about wrestling is that you never say never. So that would be stupid of me. We've been on the show and we predicted people saying things like that, and then they've, everybody has been caught with that whole never say never thing.
Except for Shawn Michaels.
Right, except for Shawn Michaels.
No,
but
you were supposed to quote Sting, but you fucked that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. So I'm never gonna say never, but this is my final episode. I want to thank everybody who has listened to the show, long-time listeners, short-time listeners, much appreciated. But it now resides with Byron and O, and that's basically it. I don't know what's going on, but I know it's my final episode.
If you guys still want me around, I'm here. It's the type of person I would gladly still continue to be a thorn in your asses.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know this I know this is my last episode. That was for sure with me.
What was Sean saying?
Yeah, I know this was my last episode as well, and I've been with this program about 4 years, and it wasn't for this. Actually, I wouldn't have met Laura. I wouldn't have met John Campbell and worked for Imperial Wrestling Entertainment and Michigan Wrestling Organization, because they all kind of mixed together for a short period during that Tough Enough highlight series I did for a spell. But this has been fun as hell. Both as a fan way back during, I think I found out via MySpace. Like one of those recommended friend days.
Sean was actually a fan of the show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was a fan of the show. Listened when they were on Justin TV. And
Justin Days. That always makes me laugh. Yo.
Justin Days with Riot.
Yeah, but me too, though. I remember that's how I met Joey. I was a fan, and then I just randomly asked him when I saw him, like, "Yo, you need a co-host? Let me know."
I think
that's how it happened. But I was a long time listener, way before that.
I think one of my first episodes was either the 80s Night or Shockwave the Robot, which, yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, God. You became part of this whole crew after the robot.
Dude, I still love that interview. It's hilarious.
That was probably the second after Larry Sabisco. That was the most second horrified I've ever been.
Oh my God, I remember that shit.
That was a guy that we interviewed from the indie scene that would not drop his character. And and as you know, for listening to the show, when we do interviews, we interview the person. We don't interview the character. This guy was Shockwave the Robot the entire fucking interview.
You're telling me?
Like, and I was fucking horrified. I was really, really pissed off. I really was. That was probably one of the angriest I've ever been.
Yeah.
Even angrier than I was with Larry Sabisco. Because, it's just at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I thought, well, we still have Larry Sabisco on the show. Like that's still a name that we have to the list.
Yeah, that's true. Let me ask you a question. Do you still got access to these old interviews? If you do, you should put them up, definitely.
Yeah, they're all up. Well, not all of them. Most of them are up on SoundCloud. There was a few, like we had Matt Stryker, Headbanger Thrasher, as I said earlier, Michael Hutter, but few of those got...
No, but I mean like the Larry Sabisco. I mean the episodes like
Larry
before
Sabisco is missing too, but we do have some before me, like Balls Mahoney is up. George Steel is up. Ernest the Cat Miller is up. Johnny Rods is up. They're all up on SoundCloud. They're all up on iTunes, Google Play.
By the way, I know we didn't mention this, and I know this has nothing to do with what we're talking about at the moment, but I do want to say, something about the fact that Charlie Murphy died, and we didn't mention that at all. Charlie Murphy, the brother of Eddie Murphy, who became famous because of the Chappelle Show, he passed away, and I didn't feel like, a lot of people gave him a lot of love. And I just want to say, Charlie Murphy was awesome, man. In the current era that we're in, he was way funnier than his brother. Eddie Murphy owned the 80s, but Charlie Murphy owned this era that we're in. That's you know what I mean? Like, and I didn't, they mentioned it briefly, but I didn't feel like they gave him a lot of love. I was really saddened by that. And we've lost actually a couple of celebrities in recent memory, but Charlie Murphy is the one that stands out to me. Really quickly, though, again, this has been one of the most exhausting things for me because I actually really do give a shit about this. And the reason I give a shit about this is because I used to do another show, and we couldn't, myself and Black Moses, we couldn't do anything on that show. We weren't allowed to do anything on the other show, and we decided to start our own show, and it was the best thing that I ever did. We had to start from the ground up. We had no association with that other show. We didn't want any association with that other show, and this show proved, interview after interview, that we were in the right track. We did the right thing. So I just wanted to thank specifically Black Moses for joining me on that venture because it was a risky move. I mean, we had never done an internet radio show. As a matter of fact, a lot of people weren't doing internet wrestling radio shows at that time.
There was only 2 wrestling internet radio shows when the show started, and I think 6 in general.
So, it was a pretty risky venture at the time that we did it. But I'm so glad that we did because we really did some great episodes. We had themed episodes, not just the interviews, but, the 80s theme, the best tag teams, best Intercontinental Champion, whatever it was, we covered it. And
there was one
awesome.
episode we never got to do, and I know we talked about it all the time when BLG was on, Brock Lesnar guy. And that was an episode dedicated to the Montreal Screwjob. If Big O, Innocent,
we did do one. Not with him, but we did do one before.
Yeah, but if Innocent, Byron, Laura, you guys decide to do another one, I'd love to try and get on that program.
Yeah. What, to talk about the Montreal Screwjob? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because I got a couple conspiracy theories about that. I made up over the years.
That's a one Survivor series.
Oh god.
The Montreal Screwjob is the one Survivor series that I'm pissed off that I missed watching live.
If you could get Brock Lesnar to do too, that'd be awesome.
Man, he's too busy attending fucking household.
He really wanted to talk about that, man. Yeah. Believe me. He really wanted to talk about that. So I want to thank everybody who has ever listened. Like I said, all of the tremendous guests, all of the stuff that we had to put up with, sometimes the audio issues, and just 10 years. It's felt like 20 years, by the way, since doing this show, in all honesty. But yeah, that's basically it, man. One of the reasons why I'm leaving or semi-retiring is that, and this is the God's honest truth, the world of wrestling is not meant for me anymore. This pussified world of wrestling, it's not my thing. I really mean that. By the way, pussified world, not just wrestling, but just a pussified world. People getting easily offended, people getting people, like, if you say you don't like somebody, that you automatically, if you're talking about a black person and you're just specifically talking about a black person, that means immediately that you're a racist, even though it doesn't really mean that. I grew up in an era where if you didn't like somebody, that was the end of the discussion. It didn't mean you didn't like an entire race of people, or this pussification that has happened in this world. Not being able to say what they feel anymore because of, all the backlash that you get. I'm sick of stuff like that. I'm sick of the direction of wrestling. It's so predictable. There's good stuff here and there. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, very predictable. Nothing really changes. It just angers you, and these were some of the reasons why I've decided to stop. Basically,
we do have a few people listening in live. Daniel Mendez is giving thanks to you and me. Eric Galvans, the NXT guy, is giving thanks to a lot of us, putting up with him and keeping him entertained for these last few years. And Kalani Double R is also. So thank you guys for listening to the program live and really being a part of the show since you guys are listening live. So.
Yeah, and I got to say thank you too, man, because let me tell you something, man. I listened to the show for years. Yeah, was the only show I was really listening to, and I have to say this, and I'm not saying it to sound suck up. I think Joey is definitely one of the best lead mans as far as for podcasts, and that's basically what's what made me listen. And not only because of him, doesn't sound gay or whatever, but he's a real good lead man. He had a really good backup. He had really good backup, and I have to say I was really entertained. And this is the reason why I always wanted to be on the show, and I made it. So yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
I'm a piece of shit, though, so that
fine. Just wanted to. I just wanted to explain why I'm leaving. To the people. It's just the current state that we're in. The world, the way it is it makes me sick sometimes. We have a president as a buffoon. We have this whole, like I said in the beginning of the show, this whole theory that the United States is the greatest country in the world. I don't know why, if you've never lived in another country, why you assume that the United States is the greatest country in the world. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying maybe live a couple of other countries and find out if it really is. That's all I'm saying. But, so we have a president as a buffoon. The WWE is what it is. I hope it gets better. It always does for WrestleMania or SummerSlam. And ironically, I will be going to SummerSlam this year. So maybe I'll pop up around that time. But like I said, for now, this will be my last show. I want to thank everybody. And that, as they say, is that. Anybody else has anything to say before we go?
Thank you, Joey.
Yep.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
Thank you guys
what
so
does that
much.
mouth do, Joey? That was
So, for the last time, maybe ever, the man who sleeps on the floor cannot possibly fall out of bed. Good night, everybody.
What does that mouth do? Joey, what does it do?